This is the United Podcast Network.
If you're building or buying or selling a home, the Real Estate Crew's got news for you at the Real Estate House Party.
With attorney Rick Carter,
Real Estate House Party.
paralegal Kathy Holtshouser,
Real Estate House Party. Come in, have fun.
and comedian Tony V.
He's not here.
Now, here's real estate attorney Rick Carter.
Welcome and thanks for joining us here on Real Estate House Party, where we try to give some tips on buying a house, selling a house, refinancing a house,
Or
owning
nothing,
a house,
nothing
or
at all.
I was getting to that. And what a panel of real estate members do we have today? Specialists. I have Kathy Holtshouser. She's temporarily working as a probationary period at Carter Law Office there. And John Marroni from New Fed Mortgage.
Yep,
Thank
hello.
you, John, the Iceman. And no real estate panel would be complete without Lenny Clarke talking real estate.
That's right. That's right. After this, we're going to talk mortgages.
That's right.
We're going to go right to mortgages. Well, how about some negative amortization, John? That always
we're
makes
gonna-
I love that. The best program ever.
We're going to be bringing that up. Before we start, though, John Marroni, you have some issue with Lenny Clarke that you've festered about this for 30 years.
30,
Uh-oh.
30,
Go ahead.
32 years, yes.
Go ahead.
Oh
And then
my
we
God.
got to get to all
That's
our
a
real.
long time,
That's
John.
a lot of
Yes,
time,
sir.
and you're still
Boy.
smiling. But after this, then we got to get to all our real estate information. But for now, we're going to go off the rails a little bit because
Well-
you have something to talk with Lenny about.
Well, we were at Stitch's nightclub, and Lenny used to do this
all right.
thing.
All right, what year was this?
1985.
Wow.
And Lenny always used to do this thing. If someone wasn't looking at the stage, he would just stop talking. And then everybody would look at that person, and then he would say whatever. I used to think it was so funny until it happened to me.
Oh, no.
So I was on my first date, and I'm looking over to the right, and it's quiet. And then all of a sudden, I see all the heads looking at me. I'm like, he's doing it to me.
Oh.
And then he's just like, I look up, I smile. He's like, first date? I'm like, yeah. He's like, kiss her. Kiss her! Kiss her!
And how long did it last? That relationship?
That was
it.
my first wife.
Was it really?
Really?
Oh,
So
my
how
God.
long? You didn't answer the question.
How
though.
long did it last? It was good. It was all good. I died. I loved it that it happened to me. And it was just like he broke the ice,
Oh, good.
which was great. But I got to say, because huge fan of Lenny's. And, all the years, Lenny's always kept it clean. He was never vulgar or anything like that. He's always used to, Stitches, the Paradise.
Yep.
Many first dates used to go there. He used to, it would be awesome. It was like
You'd
the
open
best-
the door for anyone.
Oh
out
my
there
God! And
on
it
their
wasn't.
first
I
date.
remember this one time. This guy. No, it was. I felt bad for the guy because Lenny, for the most part, keeps it clean. And the guy brought his date, and he was like wanted her to see Lenny, and he's like all smiles and all that. And the lady, and you weren't even vulgar. I thought if any, at most you were PG-13, and she's like, I think this guy's a little vulgar and all that. The poor guy's face just dropped, and I'm just like, I'm like,
Here we
stick
go.
around.
Here we-
It's probably your last date if you stay here for the rest of the show.
Oh, my God.
But I gotta say though, it was just, you, all respect to you. I loved,
Thank you, John.
Oh,
He's
unbelievable.
the man.
Except,
Unbelievable.
can I just say one thing?
Yeah.
Lenny Clarke's not vulgar.
No, he's not. He
Well,
really
well,
isn't.
well,
He's not.
There are occasional curse words, but I'm not. I'm not a shock comic or stuff like that. I mean, I never started, but I do finish.
You do. Oh yeah.
I do.
I have a
you're the
couple
closer.
favorites. I have a couple
Yeah.
favorites.
It's funny because I would see hecklers starting with Lenny. I'm shaking my head. I go, this is not going to end well.
Oh.
You're up against the professional.
Oh.
Don't even
40
try it.
years I've been doing it. What makes you think, I missed that one? Yeah, that one. Oh, that's a good one. That one I haven't heard.
I have no reply to that one, right?
Yeah.
Here's the other thing about Lenny too, and I wish I could golf with him more. But the times I have golfed with him, he is very unique in his golf style. He does not take any practice warm-up swings. He just goes up to the tee, hits the ball, and moves on. Am I right about that?
Bobby always says, Lenny, you shoot like a man being shot at. I'm the fastest golfer. Well, you know what? I think if everyone golfed as quick as I do, you'd get it done quicker.
That's right.
And
That's
all
right.
these people, they're looking, they're lying down, and they suck. They never get it right. That's why. I don't know why you're spending so much time setting up a putt. You always miss it. Just hit it. Headache. For God's sakes, there's people waiting to get in there to drink and eat.
So it had occurred to me, I'm wondering if Lenny Clarke has the same approach when he's purchasing property.
Well-
No prep time.
No.
None.
None.
And that is why we're here today, because you have the best story, and we're probably going to talk. I know you own in Martha's Vineyard now.
Yes.
And
I married wealthy again.
yeah.
I saved up and got a good one.
And was that? And we can get to that at the end there. But was that purchase pretty much anticlimactic? Did that go pretty smoothly?
Oh, it was unbelievable.
Okay.
We had an agent for the buyer and an agent for us and an agent for the seller.
Yeah.
And we flew in from LA. It was a blizzard, and I got really lit up the night before at the hotel we were staying at in Edgartown. They came and picked us up, and we drove out to Chilmark, and we could only get in so far. And I stepped out of the car, and I fell face plant, and Jennifer was so embarrassed. And they go, sorry about that. And she goes, yeah, he's tired. He's been flying all night. I was shit-faced. Yeah, you can see. So I was drunk. Anyway, so we go in, and she had been working on this deal for 6 months, and it's a beautiful house. 5 bedrooms.
4 acres, right?
6 acres. 6
Six,
acres.
wow.
Yep. Overlooking the ocean. I went in, and I took one look at it and fell in love with it. And I said to the guy, I heard there's something wrong with the seller. Knock $50,000 off, and I'll buy it right now. And they just looked at each other, and Jennifer was, what are you doing? What are you? So they went outside. They couldn't get cell service. They had to walk about a half a mile down to get cell service. She said, you've blown this deal for me. I said, look, they'll be back. They'll be back. They got to be back. The driver's back to the hotel. So they came in. They said, it's a done deal. And I go, see? Now take me back to the hotel. So, and the funny thing was, when you have to do any work on your home in the vineyard, especially in Chilmark, the neighborhood that I'm in, people, there are a lot of politically correct, nosy busybodies who want to do. They want.
Really?
Well, you can't cut
vineyard?
trees. You can't do anything. So the beams, the support beams in my house were rotting out from we have a crawl space in front of a basement, and we had to raise the house to replace the beams. 250 people showed up at the meeting, ready to vote against it. How high are you going to raise the house? I said to my guy, he goes, 8 inches. 8 inches. They go, they were all bummed out. And I said, then we're going to lower it back down. So it's actually nowhere. It's just up and then right back down there. All right. They were so pissed they couldn't say no to me. So we did that. Yeah.
All right, so there's the first question for Kathy Holtshouser.
Yeah.
Should Lenny have picked a team together? I think we always preach.
Yeah.
I think we always preach to people, if you're about to purchase a house, there's certain people you should get on your team to assist you in the buying process.
Attorney Rick Carter.
Oh, there you go, right off the bat. You'd only close now with Carter Law Office.
Absolutely.
Right?
Rick, I wouldn't even show up. I'd say, Rick, here's my power of attorney. Go down and handle it.
The last closing we had with Lenny, he goes into Norfolk Registry and yells out, "We're the best-looking group closing in this whole place here today."
That's right. That's right. That's right.
So Attorney Rick Carter, and
Yeah.
probably because of the paralegal extraordinaire that he has
Yeah.
working with her, Kathy Holtshouser. But who else do you think we'd have on the team that we should counsel Lenny on next time? And it sounds like he has
I would
something.
bring in John right
Yeah.
away.
So should we bring in John?
Absolutely.
You need a lender because you'd need a pre-approval letter or a pre-approval or a pre-qualification letter, right? Do you give both still, or?
Yeah, we do a pre-approval, but I
Yeah.
think most importantly is like when I sit with someone, the very first question I ask, okay, how much money you make, what your credit is, I say, how much are you comfortable paying per month? And then
Okay.
everything.
Wow, I like that.
Yeah, because nothing else matters. I'll probably pre-approve you more than what you want to pay. You know, a lot of
Right.
times, people, especially back in the days with the no income verifications and all that, I can get them anything they want, and then they go to the close and go, I got to pay this every month.
John, you know what I was paying? $19,876 a month.
This
A
is
month.
on
My mortgage.
This is on Lenny's California house
Yeah.
that we have to get to.
Oh,
So, all right, we were going to wait for the finale on the show on this,
sorry.
but you're going to have to tell these two how you got approved for your loan. And this is I shouldn't build it up to it. It's one of my favorite stories of all time. Johnny, so you got to remember Lenny is getting pre-approved.
Yep.
Well, let's
Yeah.
start and say a typical borrower
Yeah.
needs tax returns,
that's a great point.
W-2s
What-
from your job, a source of income.
Yeah, we're
usually,
going to
right?
demonstrate that income will continue for the next 3 years.
Yep.
Oh,
So
oh,
there's like-
oh,
So here we go. We're gonna have point. Great. Go ahead. Go ahead. No, this is good.
So John needs all these things. They need an appraisal on the house,
Mm-hmm.
right? What else do you need?
Bank statements, where the money's coming from.
Yep.
These
Source
days.
in the income
Yep.
or
Show
source in
where
the.
the deposits, where you
how
know,
much you have in your savings, how much you have in your checking.
Yeah.
That's
So
right.
basically,
Outstanding debts.
Credit,
you're
that's
giving
right.
John, the lender, all of your personal information, and it's pretty intense.
And would you suggest getting that stuff in on time?
Oh yeah.
I know I'm leading the witness here, but
So basically, what you're all talking about, I call it.
thank you, John. All right.
I call it breaking the ice. That's
Yeah.
an acronym.
All right.
ICE, income, credit, equity.
Right.
Oh,
So if I know
Is
the
this why they
income,
call you the Iceman?
that is true.
The Iceman.
Yeah,
I
the
love it.
Iceman.
So the income is, first of all, you do not need a job to get a mortgage. You never needed a job to get a mortgage.
Oh, Lenny has a story to that. We're gonna
You
hold
need-
this till the yeah.
You need income. So
Oh,
income,
Lenny has a story
Whether
on that.
it's child support,
alimony, rental income, what
a
have
lawsuit,
you. Right.
or whatnot.
Credit. They look at credit just to see, how you're going to pay your bills. Like nowadays, you look at a credit report and it's like a personality behavioral profile. You just know what they're going to be. I mean, there are some people I look at and I say, look, there's really nothing I can do for you, but based on your credit report, you sure look like you'd be fun to hang out with.
Yeah.
I'll tell you.
But that's it.
That's great.
You'd be a fun
I
friend.
like that.
No, I mean, I had a guy. I looked at his credit report.
I had a guy.
He had he's making great money, but he's got like all these foreclosures on his investment properties, which he was receiving rent. And I'm like, all right, I got to get this guy in. I need to see this guy's vice. So he comes in. There was like the moment I saw him, there was like this big bright light behind him. There was my answer. He's wearing this hat, baseball hat, and a shirt, and it said Foxwoods Gambling Casino. And I
that
said,
was his Achilles heel.
right,
Yeah.
but what struck me the most was when he left. It was like what was written on the back of the shirt. I'm thinking this guy never read the back of his shirt. Had he read the back of his shirt, maybe he might not get in trouble. And it was the front of the shirt was Foxwoods Gambling Casino. The back of the shirt, the house always wins.
He should have taken his own advice.
Yeah, that's the truth.
So and then the equity portion, that's on a purchase. How much you're going to put down? If you're a veteran, any veterans out there, thank you for serving our country. For openers, you don't have to put any money down. Money down can come from a gift, or if you happen to have money to put down, just make sure it's been in your bank account for 2 months because we look at the last 2 months bank statements. So
Right.
that's so the income, credit, equity. Once I understand all that, I know what we can do. And then, of course, your objective. And usually the objective, I start with how much do you want to spend per month? Every month. Like I'll say to some people, especially the no docs, you have to pay $3,000 a month. Yeah. I go, every month. It's going to happen every month. Right?
Now, John, is that principal, interest, and taxes and insurance,
Well, I'll go over-
or
yes.
are you going to go?
No, I'll
are
go
you
over
gonna
everything.
Take it like cable and electric.
No, I won't do-
and,
no.
You know what I mean? Because those are other. If you buy in a
Right.
much bigger house, those
We don't care about that, though. We're just a mortgage lender. We want the $3
No, it's a good
grand
point,
to cover
'cause-
the taxes, the mortgage, and anything we've lent you. The other stuff, you could have no furniture in your house. You could have no
That's right.
cable.
I know.
You could have no electricity or gas. We don't care. As long as you come up with the $3
But
grand.
some people
No,
don't
it's-
understand that,
Oh.
that with a bigger house comes bigger expenses. They got the lawn, they have the
Oh.
snow removal, like you know what I mean. So they can afford on paper that big huge house, but in theory, what do they call that? House poor?
I had a lawn the size of this table with a guy who came every week.
Nice.
Yeah, that was about another grand a month. For
Okay.
my God,
That was
my
California.
gardener Jose, and his sister Maria was my maid, who sat around and rolled big joints for Senior Lenny because there was nothing to clean.
So,
Senor Lenny.
so for $1,000 a month, they took care of Senior Lenny.
Oh
right?
no, 1,000 for him. Maria was probably another grand. I don't know. Money was no object. It was no object.
Yeah.
$19,876 a month mortgage. You think a couple of grand for the people working for me? You think that's gonna scare me? Oh, I made it big. I spent it.
So it sounds like you didn't put together a budget.
We're gonna get to that. But related to Kathy's point, in Massachusetts, it's probably the most expenses for maintenance, other than your mortgage, in the country. You know, with oil, landscaping,
Snow removal.
snow removal.
The cable is outrageous.
Cable.
It goes up every month, like $20 every single month.
It's incredible.
It is, and everybody wants to pull the plug, but that's a whole different show.
All right, so John Marroni, you've told us how someone should come into you,
Yeah.
and Kathy's had some suggestions on what to do also, and the Ackerman I.C.E.
Yep.
I love that.
Now let's ask Lenny how he got approved for his California house.
Okay.
You got your tax returns, right?
No.
So right now you have no preparation. You're not dealing with an attorney. You're not dealing with an originator.
I'm dealing with I think it was my first wife. She was a redheaded Jewish Playboy model from Birmingham, Alabama, and we had a beautiful 2-bedroom apartment right near the beach, 2-car parking, pool, tennis courts, nice neighbors. And she comes home one day and says, "We need to buy a mansion." I said, "What? You're on the cover of TV Guide. You have a show on CBS. You can't live here. We have to live in a mansion." I go, "Oh, I don't know." She goes, No. Come on, I found one for us." So 2 blocks away, we found this house along with these other pastel-colored, beautiful homes right on the canal on the other side of Venice, which is Marina del Rey, which is 1 block from the beach. So these homes went from $3 to $6 million, and there's like 12 of them. There's only 2 of them occupied. So she said, "We can look at it Monday." I said, "Who's in there now?" "No one." I said, "We're going in right now." So I break a window. We go in the back. I look around.
Okay. Kathy Holtshouser, is that legal?
No,
Should we be coaching our clients to do this?
No, yeah, don't
break any windows.
do this. Don't do
You
this.
jump in
It
whenever.
can. Lenny Clarke can do that, but most people can't.
Well, no, it's not
so.
legal in Massachusetts. I don't know about California.
No, it's
Now,
not.
now you guys got to remember, this is like Animal House. He's the devil on my one shoulder.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys
Yeah.
remember
Yeah,
that scene
yeah, I do.
there, and you should be on the others. You're supposed to jump
I
in
know,
there.
okay.
No, Senior Lenny, you're not supposed to do that. Okay, go
I
ahead.
didn't want to
So-
interrupt
Yeah,
his
no.
story.
So you're
So
breaking
it's
into
all
the
right,
house.
Kathy, jump in.
So I'm not going on a limb, but not to do that.
So
Okay,
we break
okay.
in the house,
Okay.
and it's 4 floors, and in the top floor is a deck overlooking the ocean.
Wasn't it an elevator?
Master bedroom. Yeah, there was an elevator. It was a master bedroom. There was a bathroom with a square commode. How about that? A square toilet.
Really?
As a matter of fact, Cola called me and asked if they could come to look at it. And I said, "No, you should have looked at it when it was in your factory." So
Yeah.
now, it was 6
Too late now.
bathrooms. 6 bathrooms. Oh my God, it was just gorgeous. Everything, steam bath in my bathroom, the master bath. I mean, everything you could want in the house. So now I go, "That's pretty nice." And she says, "Well, I've got an appointment with the bank tomorrow." This is Sunday. So we go into the bank Monday. And they go, "Mr. Clarke, so nice to meet you. You know, we love your show." My show had been on the air for a week. And they said,
This is the first tip off.
how can we help you? And I said to him, no kidding, I said, "Don't I get a toaster or something?" Because, you know, when I was a kid growing up,
Yeah.
when you opened up a bank account, if it was a sizable, but they give you a toaster or
towel,
something. They
yeah.
go, "You've never bought a house before, have you, Mr. Clarke?" I go, "No." They go, "Let's talk with the wife." I go, "Well, wait a minute. Well, they want $3.2 million. Can't we, work the numbers, get it down to like $2.8 million?" They go, "We better talk to your wife." So they start talking to the wife, and then they say, "Do you have any collateral?" And I said, "It's funny you ask. I have my picture on the cover of TV Guide." And they go, "That will do." So this is the time when everyone was getting loans. No, there was no questions asked.
Right.
Anyone, like maids, like my maid could have bought the house next door, but she was lazy. So what happens is they say, "Oh, it says here that you owe $80,000 in credit cards," because I was using the credit cards to fly back and forth to LA to Boston. And I go, "Yeah, that'll probably screw things up," because I did not want this house. And they go, "No, we'll just add that to the note." So when I left there, they gave me the $3.2 million for the house plus the $80 for the credit cards, and they all rolled it into thus $19,876 a month. And there was no questions asked. The next day, the market crashed.
Yep.
So my house was less than what it was, and I bought it with negative amortization.
Oh yeah.
All
Which-
right,
which-
so let's ask Kathy Holtshouser, because we did a lot of negative amortization loans.
Did you
I
really?
thought you were throwing me softballs.
No, that's an easy one there.
A negative am, you end up owing more money than what you borrow. It's like compound interest.
Yeah,
John, you could
Because
probably
the
help me out
payments
too.
pretty much are just a lot of times like interest only or
Less than interest.
Yeah, less
less
than
than
interest.
interest only.
Less than
Yeah,
interest only
If
is
it's
what
an
I have.
adjustable negative
Right.
AM,
So they get you for a teaser rate probably when you
Right.
first went in there.
Oh,
for
yeah.
like 1% or
Right.
something
Then all of
like
a sudden
that.
jumps up to the 6%, but you only have to make a minimum payment. But
So
that
you never
You never get out. You never get
you're
out.
never paying
never
down
paying
your
it off.
principal, but you're not even paying down all the interest that you owe every month, and that's getting interest.
Yeah.
Interest keeps racking up. So
Which is another reason why we need you on the team.
right,
Right.
there
right.
you go,
Right.
Lenny. Full circle
So-
there. You're good.
So needless to say, after about 6 months, I owed more than I ever dreamed. And they call me, and the show gets canceled. And the bank calls me, they go, Mr. Clarke. I said, yeah. Hi, it's the bank. We haven't received a payment from you lately. I go, isn't that odd? And they go, is your show still on the air? And I go, I'm pretty sure it's still on somewhere. And they go, well, we expect to be paid. And I go, and you should be. I said, but tell you what, you know what? Why don't you just come by and get the keys? I put them under the mat. I moved all the shit up. And they go, Mr. Clarke, this isn't like repossessing a car. He goes, it is to me. I already got an apartment. I'm out of there. And but the funny thing was, I needed money for a down payment. Now, I was the newest star on CBS. I had the hottest show since All in the Family. It was called Lenny, and it was a big, big hit. And I said, I'll go to see the president of CBS, Jeff Zagansky, a nice guy from Wellesley at the time. And he was having a meeting with all these people, and I walked in. Jeff, you got a minute? He goes, Lenny, I'm having a meeting. I go, this will only take a couple seconds. So he says, will you excuse me? So all these guys in suits go, he says, what are you doing? I said, I need $1 million. He goes, what do you need $1 million? You, drugs? I said, no. He says, gambling? No. And I said, my wife found this house on the beach. She wants the house. He goes, you don't need $1 million for that. I go, well, what do I need? He goes, well, what do you get for stand-up? He's like, 10 grand? Yeah. I will give you 10 affiliate shows. That's 100,000. We'll give you 150,000 for a movie of the week. That's 250,000. There's your down payment. I get out of here. Never bust in on a meeting like this again.
Wow.
I leave. I get on the elevator. By the time I went from the third floor to the first floor, there was someone waiting with a $250,000 check. for me.
Wow.
Wow.
So I gave that. That started all up, and with the bank give me the negative amortization with the floating or whatever it
The
is,
compound
the
interest.
compound interest and the adjustable.
Yeah, the
which
adjustable
they
rate.
can-
Yeah.
You're not
they
paying
can-
the whole
so
thing
they
up.
can hit me even harder. Yeah, I'm still bleeding. But anyway,
I don't think they do those much anymore, do they, John?
no one's that stupid. No one would be that stupid. Even idiots know that. You don't do that.
John, you're very quiet over there. You didn't give the loan to Lenny Clarke, did you?
No.
You're very quiet over here.
I
think
have
John would have tried to talk me out of it.
I think that was the greatest program out there. For real, it's the greatest cash flow management tool on the planet, and I'll
Well,
tell you why.
I agree with you.
First of all, it wasn't adjustable, but the index it was tied to was tied to cost of savings. Like right now, anyone who's still in that program, their interest rate is probably 2.75%, because the cost of savings right now is like almost zero.
Yeah.
And then maybe they might have had a margin of maybe 2.75. So that's their rate. So I'll tell you some success stories on that. So what happens is this. You get into the program, they give you 4 options. That's why they call it the option arm. One is you can make your regular principal and interest payment over
Right.
30 years, 15 years. You could do interest only, or you can make less than interest only. At the time, they had it like as low as like 3.5%. So I had someone that they bought a house in Weston, and he paid the minimum payment, and he sold his house in 5 years. So he was like, I think, paying like $1,000 a month, but then his value of his house went up like $700,000. He leveraged the heck out of it.
Right.
So where the program went wrong was how it was sold. People didn't really understand how to use it. Like some people actually thought they actually dropped the start rate down to 1%.
Yep.
And the way it was sold to people was, that's your payment for 30 years.
Right.
So what happens is there's a clause that, let's say you have a $100,000 mortgage, that originally it said when it goes up to 125% of the balance, they recast the loan and then whatever.
Your payments go up.
Right. So what they did was, and that's when the start rate was around 3.5, but they dropped it down to 1%. So now it's going to accelerate a lot faster.
Right.
So it was like doomed to fail if someone just made the minimum payments, because after like 5 years, there you go. After 5 years, they're saying, all right, we're going to fully amortize it. So people's payments overnight doubled. And at that point, that's when everything started unraveling.
Well,
Now, had anyone just stayed with it and did interest only, they would have been great. Or if they did principal and interest, because the interest only period was for 10 years, they would have been just fine. It was the ones that got into it and they said, "Oh yeah, I'll be fine. I'll make extra payments after a year." 97.
Well, the people that couldn't afford that kind of mortgage, when they took a negative arm, they got in trouble because they could truly only afford X amount of
Right.
dollars. It's the people that had like a floating salary, like one month they'd make $10,000, the next month they'd make $30,000. So that it worked out good for the people that
Absolutely.
actually had money.
So, well, I was making $75,000 a week, but when the show got canceled, I was making nothing.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
So
after-
at the time,
after-
it was probably good for you.
Oh, it was fantastic for the first couple of weeks. I was living large. But then when you don't have a show, wow, does that get?
Yeah.
Whoa!
So when the
fast.
bank calls you and says, "We haven't seen your last mortgage payment yet, as of yet, Lenny," right?
Yeah.
What'd you say?
I said, isn't that odd?
Yes, you have.
I love that. Isn't that odd?
So that was that.
So
program-
if that was well coached to your buyers,
Yep.
then it would be a good tool.
Right.
Yeah, so I would the way I would have presented it is your fully principal and interest payment is, I'll just throw out a number, $2,500. The minimum payment for the first year will be $1,000. So just know that difference is going to add to the
Right,
principal
right,
balance.
right.
And as Kathy says, it was designed for people that had they're like in sales or whatever,
Fluctuating, yeah,
and they wanted a
salary.
nice cushion. But most, I think 97% of us are not disciplined enough.
Right.
So, or if someone, let's say right now I said the rate's 2.75, if someone took the difference of the payment and put it in and invested that,
Right.
now they would have had the cushion over there to,
Right.
but
I have a question for you, John. Did anybody make out on that program other than the
His
bank?
guy from Weston.
yeah, my guy from Weston did.
He-
Yep.
But
Yeah.
what year did he get that? Because it seems like this
It was
program,
around 2000, the year 2000,
Okay, 'cause
and he
this
sold in 2005.
right? Because this program seems to work when the equity in the property is going up.
Yes.
It does, but if someone, the same guy, let's say he made principal and interest payment, he in the mortgage, his rate right now would be 2.75.
Yeah.
So he would just be in an adjustable, which is a great index that he'd be in, tied to savings. Savings rates aren't going to go up too fast.
Right.
Opposed to like the 1 year treasury that's tied to debt, and that thing's going to go up, as soon as someone needs money, U.S. government. So anyone that got into that program 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and made principal and interest, they're loving it. They're still
Right.
in it. They're loving it. But
Really?
they don't tell you that part.
Right.
They-
Right. Right.
No
So-
one told me any of that. No one told me anything.
No, no, they just-
sign here.
Right, and these are your
I
first
was
payments.
I got a cramp from signing so many things.
Well, that's the other question, and this is where maybe the law office comes in there. Did you have anyone looking over those forms for you, or did you just go in and sign
I was
those?
just signing everything. I didn't even read them.
How about the offer to purchase the house?
Hey,
Did-
Lenny, haven't you ever heard that saying? Never sign something before you read it.
Oh, I heard it now.
Yeah.
There's no better way to learn than when you really screw up. You don't do that again.
That's a
If God forbid, if I ever made the money that I was making, I would never buy anything. I would rent everything. Oh, hurricane in Florida. How's your place? I don't know. It was a rental. I don't care. I'm going to the Dominican next week. They're fine down there.
I had a customer that was, I scared the heck out of them. They're like, give me this, I'll sign everything. They're going through it. I go, congratulations, you just joined the army. They're like, what?
Boy.
Well, that's the importance of a legal team to do the
Lenny's
job,
good.
to do the job for you, to read everything and then say, listen, I've gone over it and explained it to you. Now you can
Because
sign.
we have a problem in Massachusetts, Kathy Holtshouser,
Yes, we have a big problem.
where people just sign the offer because they don't think that's a binding contract.
Even though it says it.
It
even
is.
though the-
no, because sometimes the real estate agent's like, oh, this is just the offer, and it's just the offer. Why don't
Right.
you sign here?
Yeah.
And what they don't understand is everything in that offer is going to be transferred over to the purchase and sale agreement. The offer is a binding agreement in and of itself without a purchase and sale agreement.
And how many offers do you think we get called on from
Never,
Carter Law Office?
never, ever.
In the real estate.
Except mine.
Oh yeah, we
Yeah.
looked yours over.
Because I
Thoroughly
learned,
went through
learned
that.
something. Yeah.
But in the real estate agents, they're not supposed to, and they always say it, well, we don't practice law. They're the ones filling out that contract. We love them all,
Right.
but they're the ones filling out that contract.
Right.
So I think when you bought, you probably just had an offer or a purchase and sale. I'm not sure how California does it. New Hampshire is just a one document system there where you're just signing the purchase and sale
You
right off
go
the
right
bat.
into the purchase and
Right,
sale.
go right
agreement.
into that. I wasn't sure how California is, but I think one of our suggestions is maybe we do help you out on the offer part of it, because as Kathy says, now once that's in there, then that has to all go into our purchase and sale, the second step to it, where
And if you've agreed to replace the septic system in the offer, or
Yeah.
the seller has agreed, and it doesn't make it into the purchase and sale agreement, you might be in some trouble.
I've seen some where, the typical offer will say, seller, they'll write owner of record. And I had one where the person that signed it didn't even own the property.
Right.
So it's not even a
We
binding
see
contract.
that more than
Yeah,
anything.
exactly. So the other thing they should be calling you on before that offer, and I guess this is today's point there, they should probably call some of us before they sign the offer. They might want to call you. They don't even know how much they can borrow. So how can you even put out an offer in a house if they don't know how much they qualify for?
Well, a lot of real estate agents require you to show up with a pre-qualification letter or a pre-approval letter to walk in an open house. Like you can't just come in off. Well, yeah, I bet you can, but they're looking to know that you are a buyer or a potential.
Legit. You got the money.
Buyer.
You can do it. Yeah.
So you came in with no.
I had nothing. I had a lot, but it went really fast. When you're making that much money, it's all well and good. But when it stops, it's like a faucet. Faucet, the money was pouring out of the faucet. And then one day I looked at the faucet and I go, this faucet doesn't seem to be working. It was empty. I had 3 phones ringing off the hook. And when the minute show got canceled, it was like they were all dead.
Yeah.
I kept checking. I'm still alive, and no one was calling. It's
We
horrible.
thought we were talking real estate today. We're talking.
No, this has been great.
This is nice.
Real estate, real life.
We're really getting into this. So,
But now, real estate is a fantastic investment for like Bob Hope and Bing Crosby. They made all their money in real estate. They bought up half of Los Angeles. Yeah. When they made all those road movies, as wacky as they were, they took that money, turned around, and bought real estate, and they owned so much. And and then the guy Disney, Walt Disney, he bought a lot of real estate. They went down to Florida, bought swampland, turned it into Disney World.
Yeah.
You could fit Disneyland into one parking lot of Disney World. That's how big that is.
Really?
Wow.
It's incredible. Yeah.
No, you're right. They developed their own environment.
So for people with money who want a good investment, real estate, with the right team, with the right legal team, the right mortgage people, like Johnny, he goes through his ICE, and you guys go through your legal. There is a good way to make money, but it's sometimes you have to wait.
Yeah.
Now with me, when I bought the $3.2 million house, as I say, the next day the market crashed. I mean, people forget this shit. So it was not only a bad deal for me, but the deal became even worse when the house dropped like $1 million overnight.
Right.
How does that happen?
Right.
There was no way out. I mean, I could have hit the lottery and I still would have had problems.
Right.
But there's the emotional factor. I mean, I went through it. I bought a house. My wife and I, we got married. Come back. She's like, I got a house. We just bought a house a year prior. She's like, I have a house for us to see. We just come back. I go, for who? She's like, for us. I go, okay. And we drive over on the way. I go, this thing better dazzle me. And it dazzled me. And then, we put an offer on the house. She's like, you think we paid too much? I said, yeah. But we want the house, right? Yeah. And it worked out well.
How long did the marriage last?
I'm still married to her.
Oh, there you go. Are you still in the house?
Yeah, still in the house.
Hey, well, it's a happy ending.
I like this one. It's been 12 years. No, it worked out well. But the point
In a row?
In a row, yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So the point is, I knew we overpaid for the house, but I was okay with it because I knew I was going to live in there, and I didn't care about.
You wanted it.
Yes.
You wanted it. Yeah.
It was all about I wanted it. I didn't care.
Right.
It was like it wasn't an investment. It was something that I wanted.
Exactly.
Right.
Period. So, it's like right now everybody seems to think investment on the house. You need a place to live. You need to love where you live. Don't buy it just because someone says.
Or because it's a good price.
Yeah, sometimes I see a lot of times
bugging you about it.
Well, no, I see a lot of times people when they make an offer, they're off by maybe $5,000. Like for every $1,000, that's $5 a month. All right, so $10,000, $50 a month. People are like, well.
So in other words, explain it. So on a mortgage, if you're borrowing $100,000, you're saying if now all of a sudden you have to up your purchase price by $5,000,
that's $25.
So now your mortgage all of a sudden is $105,000.
Right. But and I see people, they love the house, but they won't offer that extra $5,000, which is $25 a month. I'm like, are you kidding me?
So
you love the house.
Short-sighted.
Yeah, why don't you beat up the cable company? Right. You have $250 a month there. I mean, that's
Kathy Holtshouser.
That's a $50,000.
She's saving that this month alone on the diet soda she's giving up.
Yeah.
On, right.
Check this out. Here we go.
Okay.
Your cable bill is $250 a month. That translates to a $50,000 mortgage.
Right.
$50,000.
So you get rid of cable and you can afford a $50,000 more.
Right. I mean, heck, they're selling. I understand this.
I will hire the kids in the neighborhood to put on a play.
Me too.
Screw that. Yeah, I'm down on cable.
Well, I think.
Listen, I brought a syllabus today.
Oh yeah, but there's nothing.
Oh, you have
on
an agenda, do we?
We
Did we hit anything? Did we hit anything?
No, we hit some.
No, we did some.
We got to the first line.
All right.
I'd like to thank our sponsors, Two Guys Cigar Shop and Studio 21 Podcast Cafe. This place is wicked pisser.
Wow, that went by fast.
No, we got a few more minutes, right? We can talk about it. Should we look at Kathy now?
No, you got to wrap it up.
We got to wrap
Let's
this
get
up.
started.
No, we'll have to have
The top 10.
We'll have to have John Marroni back. And,
What about Lenny?
Oh, Lenny.
I'm only
you've
coming
been
back
great.
if John comes back.
All right, there you have
I
it.
want the
back.
Iceman and you, Kathy.
Yeah, I'll be here every
You're like
week.
the ringleader. Is that
Yes,
it? We're done?
Yeah.
We got a lot of
Thank
information.
you.
Thanks for
All
joining
right.
us here on Real Estate House Party. Kathy Holtshouser, John Marroni,
John the
All right.
Iceman.
and the man,
And
Lenny
Rick
Clarke.
Clarke.
Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week. We're going to talk a little bit about flipping property.
All right.
All right. Have a great week.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or callers of this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe, the United Podcast Network, its partners, or affiliates.